What up? Let's get weird. It's your boy Tommy G here with the Monday edition of Stay Cashin. The usual crew joining us, two gorillas and a beautiful man. Evan, I start with you as usual. How was your Sunday? Yeah, if you didn't have Henry, you didn't really have a chance of winning anything. And if you didn't have Cup, you didn't have a chance of doing too well either. So you needed to have one of those two. If you had both, you fucking smashed the universe. So, yeah, I had a great lineup in DFS. It was Kyler Murray who did. Everyone in my lineup did well. Everyone scored double digits. Even AJ fucking Green, who I put as a complete punt, scored double digits. I just didn't have any of those 30-point scorers outside of Murray. So it was, I basically cashed a couple, but min cashed and then bubbled half of them. But I was right there at the top 20% on everything. Ghost, did you play DFS this weekend? How'd your lineups go?
I did one lineup. I wasn't really focused on it this week. I did well because you guys know how much I'm in love with Cooper Cup this season. So I did play him with Stafford. Nothing to talk about, but nothing that was crushing. So decent week.
All right, Evan, you're muted again. All right, you got it. Okay. So and you guys can hear Evan now. Yeah, it was one of those. I thought the show we did was fucking phenomenal. I thought that was the best DFS gambling show I've ever heard in 5 years in this industry. If you guys weren't there, if you guys were in the chat, want to chime in on what you thought of it. But those of you who are subscribed to 4 Deep Bets, number 4deepbets.com, you can see it at the top up here. And we fucking slaughtered. It was impromptu. It was fucking, what was it, Bill? Friday night, I think it was. It was Friday night, and we were just fucking all hanging out. And it was all of us in there. And then Healy popped in and Constantino popped in and Trevor popped in and Hoffman popped in. And next thing you know, there was 8 of us running down every single game from a gambling and DFS perspective. So I thought we nutted that show. And I know the subscribers loved it. So that was a lot of fun. And we'll be doing that pretty much every week going forward. And Bill, how was your weekend? I know you don't do much DFS. It's almost all gambling. So how'd you feel?
I won. I had a great day. Hit a lot of parlays, hit a lot of teasers. I got an open teaser left for tonight for Green Bay, -1.5. Still, I love my open bets. Do multiple sport open bets. Those are the best way to go. And I got one tonight. So let's go.
Yeah. I mean, it was one of those days where the beginning of the day sucked for me, and I looked at Twitter. It looks like everyone's like got killed. Everyone was like apologizing for their plays, I went, oh, and hold on. Are we frozen on the video? Let me just see. Maybe that's just mine. No, we're good. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, it was one of those days where at the beginning of the day I was terrible. I had my worst 1 o'clock slate in a long time. Tyrod Taylor being injured was a disaster for me. I had so much money on the Tyrod Taylor prop. I gave it out on here. He was on pace to crush the prop, and then he got hurt in a perfect game flow situation. So that sucked. But 4 o'clock went fantastic. We smashed the 4 o'clock. We said there was a lot of opportunity at 4. And then we smashed the night game too, hitting plus. What did we hit, Bill? We hit a plus 1,400 on the 2 touchdowns each team, each half. We hit pretty much all the props we wanted. We swept the board pretty much outside of the fucking Chiefs. The Chiefs fucking cost me the difference between having a good night and one of my best nights in a year and a half. Bill, this is where you talk.
Yeah. I mean,
you awake, Bill? Bill, are you with us today?
I mean, listen.
Are you looking up fucking Gabby?
I am right now looking up Gabby.
Yeah, stop doing that. Turn it off your fucking computer.
Amazing. Where is Brian now? Gotta find him.
No. We're not even talking about it. We're not even going into it. I'm about to give out my biggest prop of the entire season today. You have bets for today. We have to recap all the Sunday games, or at least most of them. We have to talk about the Monday Night Football game. Put Gabby down for a fucking hour.
All right. 5 o'clock today. Rough and Rackets, or 5:30 actually.
Doesn't even know the time of his show. What's wrong with this kid, Ghost?
We are going to be talking about Gabby.
Dude, if we had one single new viewer today, they're no longer watching
this show
because of you.
Dang, shit happens. See you later.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yesterday, I didn't hedge. So I did hedge, but I didn't hedge enough. I missed the big hedge, like me and Tommy were talking about this morning. It fucked my parlay. I could have made a lot more money than I did, but I still killed it yesterday. But that game was crazy. I thought Kansas City had it the whole time. I was concentrated on the props, concentrated on in-game betting. hitting all the rushing props and everything. But yeah, the ending was insane. I mean, that fumble just killed it, and we didn't even get to get a good hedge in. So
yeah. So Ghost, I got to run out for 1 second and grab something. But
you got to knock at the door.
No, I have.
Chat's saying they're having trouble with the feedback right now.
The feedback is terrible. They're saying. Did you mute yours, Ev? Okay. All right. Yeah, I was going to say if you mute yours, that might help. Let me run out for a second. Nikos, give me a recap of last night's game. I'll be back in 1 second.
I mean, last night's game was great. I'm a big Ravens fan. I've talked to you guys about that. It was, I couldn't believe they came back and won. I was very surprised. We know Lamar struggles with the Chiefs. They struggled mightily last week. They knocked me out of 2 of my survivors. So seeing them this week was a nice bounce back. Still worried about them. Defense looks horrible. Still a lot of work to do, but outside of that game, yesterday was a good day for me, good day for us, bets wise. We gave out the Cooper Cup last week. We talked about him. Swept Cup, swept Stafford, and we swept our backdoor Bengals cover with the Rams reverse. So it's a nice day for us all around.
I don't know how we stole that Bengals game. That was
the Lord giveth, the Lord taketh.
Yeah,
took away those 2 or 3 picks in a row, and he gave them right back.
I mean, that was fucking crazy how we stole that. The thing about the game last night, I wish they played every day. It's probably the easiest game to handicap whenever the Ravens play the Chiefs. It's just, you know exactly what's going to happen. The Ravens are going to run the ball like crazy. Chiefs are going to throw the ball like crazy. Mahomes has never thrown for less than like 370 against them coming into last night. So we pounded all the Mahomes over props. We know both teams score at will against each other. So we pounded all the fucking touchdown props. Lamar Jackson rushing, I think we hit it like 5 times. Mecole Hardman smashed that in like the first quarter. I think we hit it 3 times, and we hit 2 of the 3 that we put in. So the third one he didn't get to. But Bill, what the fuck are you doing handing off to Hilaire and playing for a field goal at the end of that fucking game? I have no idea what the fuck Andy Reid was thinking. Keep the ball in Mahomes' hands to go win the fucking game.
Like we said this morning, keep the ball in the hands of the best player. Should have been to Kelsey. Should have been. I mean, Hill was just out of it the whole game. They were double covering him. But Kelsey should have got something. Mahomes should have been running. They should have done something else besides that. But, I mean, what are you going to do? He fumbled. That's how football goes. You know, they taketh the money and then they giveth sometimes, if you're lucky.
I mean, it just doesn't make any fucking sense to me why you have Mahomes and you would even want to put yourself in a position to kick a game-winning field goal. Like, why aren't you just fucking letting Mahomes win the fucking game?
I wasn't more upset about that, the fumbles. I was upset about the fourth down that the Ravens went for. I thought Kansas City should have been ready for the run by Lamar up the middle. Like they were saying, Harbaugh's yelling, "You want to go for it, Lamar? You want to go for it, Lamar?"
He didn't even call a play. He wasted half the play clock.
Exactly. There was no play put in, so you knew it was a run up the middle. Just stack the box and stop him. That's it. And like you said, if they throw a touchdown, the guy scores even better. We get the ball back. But if some reason they throw a pass and then the guy stops at the 1 and makes a smart play, I mean, that's what happens. But you have to stack the ball. No one's getting the ball except for Lamar on that play.
Yeah, I blitz 11 on that. I blitz 11. I leave the wide receivers open because, like you just said, the worst case scenario with that is Lamar, which he wouldn't, checks to a passing play, which he wouldn't ever in that situation. And you then have the chance that he just flips something up to one of the receivers over there and they run it in for a touchdown. Now you're down 8.
If they're smart, they stop at the 1.
If they're smart, they stop at the 1. But I mean, I blitz 11. I'm bringing the fucking house on that. And if they decide to option out of it, then I'll eat that as an L. But that really pissed me the fuck off. It was about a $10,000 swing, maybe more in my account just on that Chiefs game, maybe even 15,000 because I had the Mahomes 350 and a touchdown. And I think if they would have got the stop there, they would have got the ball back and he would have gone over 350. Hardman might have got over his. So it could have been up to a $25,000 swing, them not getting the stop down there. So that game, I mean, really not much to talk about. We know exactly what it was. We know those two teams are going to be around come playoff time. We're going to get to the plays for the Monday Night Football game tonight. As I said, I have my single biggest bet of the entire season. And it's potentially one of my biggest prop bets ever in my life. You guys know we pretty much bet I'll throw $2-3 grand on most props, $5 grand if I like it. We're being limited. I posted the screenshot yesterday, Bill, about FanDuel now. When we try to put $5,000 on something, limits us to 1,000. So we've got to spread it out across a bunch of different books. And only one book had it last night when I found it. So I put as much money as I can on that. I think I've had about 10 grand on it already. And I may go higher. So what I need on this, I'm going to pitch this in a few minutes. And I'm going to give my whole analysis, probably going to take 4 or 5 minutes for me to break down every single piece of analysis I have for this one play. And what I want you guys to do is try and punch holes in it, because I'm scared, because I can't find any negatives and I need negatives. So I'm begging for negativity on this, including those of you guys in the chat. So we'll go to that in a minute. Let's bring Healy. Do we want to bring Healy on for the game recaps, or do we want to bring him on for the prop? Let's bring him on. Let's bring him on now. Let's bring him on now to talk about the weekend, and then I'll go into the prop right after it. So we'll bring on Brian Healy. You guys know Healy. Healy did a fantastic job on the show the other day. I thought the game. What the?
Holy Christ!
Why?
Jesus!
Whoa!
Look like you're floating.
Whoa!
Had to upgrade.
Wow! Look at you!
Had to get out of jail.
Who painted that?
Not me.
Who painted that? Healy, I didn't even know you knew how to do something like that.
It took me 3 weeks. Clearly, I'm here.
I mean, I don't even know.
Hold on. I just want to go back for a second. That was an underestimated, pretty quick joke by Ghost, who painted the background. I mean, I like it.
I love how whenever you say something funny, we're all like shocked and need to.
Yeah, so I couldn't even absorb it. I'm like, did Ghost really say that? I'm drinking something and I'm laughing and I'm just picturing
say much, but when I do,
his white prison wall is now a big red 4D.
Right.
So Ghost.
It was a decal that Ghost sent me with my T-shirts that I've been waiting for.
Yeah, I own the company and I don't have a fucking T-shirt, Healy. So Ghost, how does it feel that we actually have a pause when you say something funny?
oh, it's great. I'm a man of few words, but when they're there, they're worth it. They're that good.
All right, cool. So Healy, I spoke to you a little bit this morning about my largest prop of the year and potentially being one of my largest props ever. But before we get into that, I want to kind of go over the weekend and get your takes on what you thought, what you learned, what you saw. I'm going to just, target a couple different games and a couple things we learned. So I don't know. I know you got 400 things going on and you got to go to soccer practices and do DFS research and baseball. So I don't know how much time you got here, but let me know if you got to bounce at any point as we're doing this. But give me your kind of overall view of the DFS slate for the weekend and from prop betting perspective, how you did.
Yeah, so from a DFS perspective, like I know you mentioned at the onset of the show, we kind of broke the whole slate down from all angles on Friday night, and I think we did a fantastic job. I know my article, all in all, was pretty spot on, except for Derrick Henry. He was the one piece that I didn't play this weekend, and ultimately he was the one piece you needed. In tournaments, he came in around 15% owned, so essentially you're battling to minimum cash. So my week was a slightly losing week. I lost about 20% of my overall investment in a DFS perspective. Slightly profitable on the prop side. I did miss the Jacoby Myers, somewhat tilting with really no 1 second half reception. The game script didn't really set up too well for him. They're really checking down to James White as opposed to the underneath routes to Jacoby Myers that I had kind of scripted. But I hit the other props that I had in the bet pack as far as Joe Mixon went, and I hit the baseball prop from Friday night as well. So all in all, it was, I thought it was a really good week. Wasn't overly exposed to that Dallas Chargers game. I kind of got a lot more of my exposure to the Vikings and Cardinals game, which kind of came to fruition. I was really high on both those quarterbacks and kind of like the way that game unfolded.
Yeah.
Tommy, are you drinking a high noon?
Yeah. I got a little passion fruit nooner.
At 2 o'clock in the afternoon?
Bill, listen, Monday nights are the hangover show. Monday shows are the hangover show. Okay. I was up till 6 a.m. looking for information on this prop. I could tell you what the guy I'm going to be playing's dog's name is. Okay. I did so much research.
What's his dog's name?
Obviously, I was drinking all day and all night. So I just fucking kept it moving, silly Billy Rupp. So when you wake up with a hangover, hair of the dog, got to go right back to it. I was drinking high noon and tequila way into the wee hours. Got to put that back in the system, get the motor fucking going so we can go fuck something tonight. Is there an issue with that? Is there a problem with that?
I mean, who doesn't love a nooner? I mean, Jesus.
Fucking nooner at noon, bro. That's what they're called, high noon, for a reason. That's where we're at.
Now this guy thinks he's Portnoy. All right, go ahead.
Fuck you. I think I fucking no. You know what? Portnoy did put me on high noon. I was just gonna say I was drinking it before him. I was gonna say it was things Tommy G invented, but no. It was Portnoy that put me on these, and they're delicious, and I recommend them.
I do. They are delicious.
And Bill was raving about the mango high noons last night.
Oh, love them.
Watermelon high noon is pissed though. Like literally, if you go in my fridge, there's because me and Bill always have boxes of high noon. Healy, you ever had a high noon?
Yeah, I had about a dozen of them yesterday.
Attaboy. All right.
So you drink the watermelon one, you're a psycho.
Do you drink the watermelon ones?
Yeah.
All right, your body's in your freezer.
Drink them all.
He probably knows where Brian Landry is right now.
Goes, do you drink high noons?
I tried them. I didn't like them. I like.
Of course you didn't. You're the fucking weirdest fucking taste.
I didn't like them. I tried them.
It's so strange.
Bro, I'm sitting on here, fucking Healy, with 2 people right here. 2 who have never had a s'more.
What?
Never in their lives have they had s'mores.
Not for me.
I mean,
but you haven't even tried it. Not that it's not for you.
No, never tried it.
Listen, graham cracker, delicious. Chocolate, delicious. Marshmallow, delicious. But I've been camping and I've always brought the stuff with me. But whenever it's time, nobody ever does it. And I'm not going to be the one to break it out and start making them. So it never gets made. And when a month later, I end up throwing the shit out and then buying it again,
throws out marshmallows, chocolate, and graham cracker.
I mean, all delicious. I just never had one.
Dude, I keep telling him, Healy, you could fucking put it in the oven. You could do it in the microwave.
You can't. It's not the same, dude.
He goes, it's not the same, Healy.
You gotta cook it over an open fire. Open fire.
Well, yeah, but before you throw it away, you can just eat the things individually, right? Like you don't have to.
But
you've never had an unheated s'mores because it's basically if you use the marshmallow, chocolate, and graham cracker, just eat it like that. It's still delicious. You could actually freeze it if you want and eat it that way. But you've never had that combination of anything, heated or un.
Nope. No, I've had them all separate, of course.
Ready for this, Healy? Either of you guys ever had a Klondike bar?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe 1 or 2. Not a fan.
I thought you said the other night you hadn't had a Klondike bar, Bill.
Not me. I love them. I sang the song.
Yeah, you said, what would you do for a Klondike bar? And then you said, I wouldn't know. I've never had one.
Not me. No. Rackets was saying he was.
Maybe.
Yeah, no, Rackets loves them. I love it.
All right. So you're at least moderately normal then. But yeah, these people are fucking idiots. So what else? Looking at these games over the weekend, Healy, I mean, I'm sitting here, the Giants-Washington game we beat to death the other day. The big game that I want to talk about is New Orleans, Carolina. I mean, that's a game that kind of went sideways on me. I was completely wrong and I fucked up. I apologize to the subscribers on that one. If I have a bet that loses, like we lost Jacoby Myers by a half catch. We lost fucking Beasley by a half catch. Jonathan Taylor got like 1 carry in the second half. So there's a few bets that I had that just missed, and you can make an excuse here or there. The Saints bet was a bad bet. It was a terrible bet, and I'm a little.
The most important piece of that whole game.
What's that?
Half the coaching staff was.
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. That's where I was going. Like on Friday's show, I think it was Wednesday or Friday's show. I said I'm not going to bet that game because they're missing 8 coaches, and I don't know how to handicap that. I don't know what that means if coaches weren't there for the whole week. It's never happened in the history of football that a team's been missing 8 coaches on a fucking Sunday. So
the news was broken on Rupp and Rackets.
Yeah. So, which he doesn't even know what time it starts. So I shouldn't have been betting it. And it was one of those where I just honestly Sunday morning putting bets in, loved the Saint, and just literally forgot about the 8 coaches. I mean, I never do that. That never happens. And that was a
Carolina wins that division. Mark it down.
You're high on Carolina because you
I love Sam Darnold.
You hate that the Jets gave up Darnold.
I do. That team, they won 5 games last year with no McCaffrey. So you put Darnold in there, you get McCaffrey back. I think they're a better team than people are giving them credit for. And everyone's going to base Darnold off what he did with the Jets. Now we see what Zach Wilson's doing there. It's just a miserable situation for whichever quarterback you put in there. You give a guy a star player like McCaffrey. He's got Robbie Anderson back. He turned the whole team around.
Yeah. I mean, one thing too, guys. Yeah, like Evan just said in the chat, like the fucking video, like the video, you fucking idiots. Go hit the fucking like button. How many do I have to tell you fucking people this every show? We dole out free money to you fucking left and right, 24 hours a day. All you gotta do is push a fucking thumbs up, you fucking lazy bastards, and it moves us up the goddamn rankings. You guys suck. Fuck you. I'm logging off. I'm done.
Stay Cashin.
I'm out of here.
Bill Rupp.
Go without Tommy G.
Let's
Bring
go.
Rackets on. Let's get Rupp and Rackets live right now.
Yes.
Oh, no, I won't let them go to that. No, I got to come back if you're going to fucking bring that disaster on here. So, Healy, what's your take on the Saints going forward?
I was a little concerned. I think I was high on Jameis coming into the season. Didn't have to do much in week one. Obviously, he executed in the red zone. That's all he really had to do. With the full coaching stack back, I want to kind of see it. Obviously, he's limited from a weapon standpoint. So it could be a few weeks till he gets Michael Thomas back, till things start clicking. One thing I was definitely wrong about, or maybe it's just been the two matchups as far as the Panthers defense. I wasn't expecting them to be as good as they've looked. They've had two, what I'll call relatively easy matchups thus far. So something definitely one to monitor moving forward. Yeah,
I think one of the issues that they're going to have there, Ghost, is that you're dealing with a coaching staff that's been used to getting the ball to the running back, right? Like one of the most, I think the highest in the last 5 years of opportunities to the running back, and a quarterback in Jameis, who throughout his career has only thrown to the running back about 14% of the time. So you have a guy who's a gunslinger who likes to look downfield, and when he gets in trouble, he just moves around and chucks something, compared to the old regime, which was get in trouble, turn around and check down. So I think it's hurting Kamara. I think they're over focusing on Kamara, because when your number one receiver is fucking Marquez Callaway, you really have nothing to worry about, on that side of the ball. So I think they're honing in on Kamara. They're going to shut him down. And I don't think Jameis knows how to get it to Kamara anyway. So I think there's a bad mix for the Saints, who I was actually kind of high on.
I was very down on Kamara coming into the season. I didn't think he was a second overall pick in fantasy. I thought he was a complete fade. What I liked about Winston coming in was that they'd be playing from behind, get a lot of garbage time points. Any chance I had, I was saying take Cook over Kamara. I don't think that they're going to be as good as people expect them to be. And I think the majority of Jameis's success is going to come from almost like a Jared Goff success from garbage time. I'm just not. I think they're a horrible team. I don't like them. I won't be betting on them. I want no part of them.
Yeah. All right. So, Bill, any final thoughts on the Saints going forward?
No, but I do have a gambling question here. So somebody on MGM has we talked about in the chat earlier, a $25 16-leg parlay to win $726,000 tonight.
What?
If the Lions win. They have the Lions plus 400.
Okay.
I don't even know how anyone would go about even starting to hedge that. There's really nothing he can do. So, my thoughts were, there's not many people with 200,000 or 300,000 cash laying around to do a hedge, So even if it goes into halftime, like somewhat tied, you're still not going to get even money, because they're such a big favorite. You'd have to wait until the third quarter and it would still have to be tied.
Yeah.
Right?
So, that person is an idiot, because
what do you think their cash out offer is right now?
That's the thing. One, you cash out right now.
What do you think the offer is?
How much money was put up?
How much, Healy?
How much was the ticket for?
$25.
To win 760,000? It's got to be fucking 5 figures.
Yeah, I have no idea. I don't
even with the plus 400. It's they got to be looking at they might be looking at like a $50,000 cash out right now. What do you think, Healy?
Yeah, it's probably a little bit under that. I guess probably closer to like 15.
Yeah,
that's what I was saying. Yeah.
What I would do in that scenario is what you should have done before you got into the bet. You basically have to go fucking prepare for that potential scenario. So if you're going to put a parlay in like that, you're not putting it in to lose. You're just donating $25. So you have to have someone on the phone that you can cut in. So I would go find as many people as I can. They can give me 10, 20,000. We could do it, obviously us, but if I'm him, I'd go find some people that could put up as much money as physically possible to get a hedge in on that.
I'm going to say he loses to 25 and doesn't make $1 out of it.
Yeah,
but
that's what's going to happen.
What's the Packers on the money line that you'd have to even
Well, I mean, even if it's fucking minus 600 or what is it?
He's not gonna get a even opportunity until
You'll probably make more money on the
quarter.
cash out than hedging it. What you're gonna put together?
No, I mean, if it's
You would
minus
need
if it's
you would
minus
need a couple
650,
$100 grand.
you put $650,000 up to win 100,000, then you're going to win 100,000 if the Packers win, and you're going to win 160,000 if the Lions win. I mean, that would be the way to do it. But there's no way this kid
Someone has that money. They're not doing the $25.
Exactly. That's
I mean,
that's why you don't end the island.
You never know. You never know.
You don't end the final leg, and this is a teaching lesson. If you're going to do a long shot parlay, you always make sure the final leg is a favorite. You never, and even if you're doing an all underdog parlay, you always end it with the Monday night favorite, because then you can hedge with a plus 400, plus 500. You never end it with a huge favorite on the huge underdog on the back end. It's just impossible to hedge it. So a couple other games to look at: Cincinnati, Joe Burrow. I don't think any of us are really scared. I think we all look at that as an aberration, right? Just a weird game. Haley, you got to take on that.
Yeah, I think it was working. I mean, 3 straight passes resulted in interceptions. I think that was certainly an anomaly. The offensive line it's going to be a problem there for him, I think, for the whole season. But, I think the picks were just an anomaly, especially 3 in a row there.
I was happy to see Fields come in and absolutely suck ass like I knew. Almost gave the game away to the Bengals. Got sacked 2 or 3 times. Fumbled, interception. Looked like shit. I think that's going to be a trend going forward. I think Fields sucks. Cleveland, Houston, what we have to realize is with Tyrod Taylor, that Houston team isn't that bad. They're not as bad as we thought they were. And I've thought that for a while now. Ghost, Rams, Indianapolis, quick take. We'll go like 10 seconds on each game here.
Stafford didn't look as great as I would have liked. I'm a little worried about the schedule coming up the next few weeks, but we'll see how they post Cup this week.
All right. Denver, Jacksonville, nothing to really talk about there, as I thought Bridgewater's good. Buffalo, Miami. I mean, Haley, we talked about it. You can't blitz fucking Josh Allen. Anyone who does is an idiot. I don't know why these teams continue to blitz Josh Allen when he's the best quarterback under pressure, like in the history.
I thought he looked terrible this week.
It doesn't matter. You still can't blitz him. Like that's what they were doing. They were blitzing him, and fucking that game plan is retarded.
Yeah, I think Buffalo's defense showed up this week. They didn't look as great the week before, but I think they are a really strong defense. They kind of just played as expected here.
They were playing against a guy who's garbage at quarterback. Come on. I mean, like Tua wasn't there. So
no, Tua is the guy who's
garbage. Let's not anoint them as the Buffalo Bills, the greatest defense in the world. Come on.
I mean, Tua is garbage too. That was like
no, he's not. But Tommy G was quarterback of the Bills yesterday. So
yeah, but Tua is complete trash, dude. ESPN needs to stop. Hold on.
The Dolphins, not the Bills.
In the few drives I watched, they just didn't look good in their own end. They put up 14 points quick. They didn't score again until what, the fourth quarter?
Yeah.
Well, because he stopped blitzing them.
Good.
He started off the game blitzing them like crazy, and they ate him alive. And then he calmed it down in the middle of the game and started dropping into his zone, and that's when Allen struggled. So I don't know why these teams don't always just drop everyone back against Josh Allen. He's not as good as him.
He had every opportunity to get right back into that game.
Yeah. Jets, New England. I mean, that's what we thought was going to happen.
I called it right off the start of the game. He was going to throw 4 picks.
Yeah.
As soon as the game started, I said he was going to throw 4. He's awful.
Yeah. Belichick versus a rookie. I just take that game and throw it out. I don't even look at that. But Healy, are you worried about Corey Davis? I mean, I have him in a lot of my leagues, and I'm starting to get a little worried. I think the schedule loosens up a little bit for the Jets, week 4 and 5, but those are going to be the weeks where I make my big judgment. But what's your take on Corey Davis and if he's viable going forward?
I think he'll be viable. Like, I don't think they're going to struggle like they did there. Consistently week in, week out, you're always going to have a positive game script, just given how bad the Jets are. They're going to be playing from behind. So I think he's certainly still a hold, unless you're planning to try to trade for something, but can't really do that off a game like that.
Yeah. Ryan Nelson says the cash out is 140,000.
Yeah. I was just about to say, how does he know that? I mean, that's insane. Take that shit now.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gone. Gone with that cash out right now.
Who's the one that has the parlays? One of our guys, or just randomly saw it?
No, it was an MGM post.
Yeah, but I mean, here's what you do: you take the 140,000, and if you want, throw fucking 40,000 of it on the fucking Detroit money line. Take the 140,000 cash out, throw 40,000 on the Detroit money line if you really think they might win it at plus 500 or whatever you're getting, and boom, maybe you win another 200,000. You end up winning fucking 300 grand. Worst case scenario, you walk with 100. So once you cash it out, you can reinvest and do something crazy with that Detroit money line, but make sure to put some shit in your pocket. Vegas, Pittsburgh. I mean, Derek Carr looked great. Pitt looked like fucking shit. I mean, I was off on this game. I thought this game was going to be a Pitt victory, but any thoughts on this, anyone?
I really liked Carr up until last year, so I kind of got away from him. I don't know. I always thought he was better than they made him out to be, and hopefully this is the year he gets it right.
Yeah, I'm a big Raider guy. I actually won a lot of money on the Raiders betting them all last year. Arizona, Minnesota, Healy, 77 points, DFS fucking gold. I had Kyler Murray and 100%. I had him all over the fucking place. I had AJ Green, who came through as my sneaky 1% call of the fucking year. What's your take? What's your take on this? Both these teams here.
I think both teams, from an offensive standpoint, are going to be really good this year. These kind of games, the shootout games, is definitely where I want to target Minnesota more broadly. Cook's going to get his no matter the game script, but Cousins can score when he has to. It's just, their play calling when they're playing from ahead is just somewhat boring and limited. It was just a little spread out, all the production in this game. Like Hopkins scored that first touchdown and then kind of didn't do much the rest of the game. And, 4 or 5 guys on each offense kind of contributed. So it was a little spread out for my liking from a DFS perspective, but the quarterbacks were fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, I was happy that I faded Hopkins. I played Murray naked. Hopkins ended up doing fine, right? He got in the end zone, about 50 yards, but 4 for 54. That's the reason I was on AJ Green, because I knew he was going to be on Breland. He actually out-targeted Hopkins in this game, 3 for 44 and a touchdown. So I was happy with that play, but I liked KJ Osborne and didn't pull the trigger on a prop bet or a regular bet. I think that kid's going to be a stud this year. He's going to be viable.
I think Jamar Chase is a stud. I think he's going to be one of the best receivers in the league.
Oh, yeah, from Cincy. Yeah.
Yeah, his stats are insane. 7 for 101 and a touchdown. He
that
had
same pass.
Yeah, touchdown last week. I think he's amazing. Great.
Yeah, that same pass that he always fucking caught in LSU, that fucking, streak down the sideline. He kind of underthrows him a little bit, cuts it under for a touchdown. I mean, those two have a connection there. You're going to see a lot of that. Tampa Bay, Atlanta. Shocked that Atlanta was even hanging in that game for a period of time. That was pretty fucking crazy. I actually burned Tampa in my survivor pools this week because I was worried about Cleveland and Green Bay. That looked like the right decision when Houston was beating Cleveland before Tyrod got hurt. So that was frustrating because about 80% of my survivor pool had Cleveland. But any takeaways from this game, Ghost? I mean, kind of what we thought it was, right? No worries about Tampa and,
Yeah, I mean, we argued, not even argued about it. We talked about it. It's time for Matt Ryan to go. I just don't know what he's still doing there. I don't think he's going to lead them anywhere. I like the Falcons. I followed them since they drafted him. I still like Matt Ryan, but I want to see that team do something different.
Yeah. I was saying it the other day. It's weird because everyone who's not a Falcons fan hates Matt Ryan, and anyone who is a Falcons fan loves him. That's why he's still there. He's still there because there's no media pressure to get him out. Like, Bill, you're a Falcons fan. What do you think of Matt Ryan?
Love him.
It's amazing. Every single Falcons fan you talk to.
He's a Hall of Famer.
They all love him. So, Healy, I mean, they got to get this fucking guy out of there.
I mean, from my perspective, from DFS, he typically puts up stats. So his offensive pieces, like Pitts, he had a real solid game. Ridley was okay. They continue to just hang around. I don't think they're going anywhere with Matt Ryan and the current team, but I think they're good enough to somewhat compete on a weekly basis.
Tell me he's not a Hall of Famer, Tommy?
He probably could be, maybe. I don't know. He's like that fucking Eli Manning, Matt Ryan. Like, who do you
guy that gets in when there's no one else there to?
Yeah, it's like it depends on the class.
He's going to throw for over 60,000
how does
yards
Edgerrin
in his
James
career.
get into the Hall of Fame?
What?
He's going to throw for over 60,000.
James could get into the Hall of Fame. Matt Ryan's.
I mean, he'll probably get in the Hall of Fame, but is he a Hall of Famer? No, he fucking chokes like every fucking time he has an opportunity. Dude, they had the second lowest offensive efficiency in the red zone of any team in football for like the last fucking 3 years. Like, they can't fucking score in the red zone, Bill. You know that. That's why you bet fucking Go every week, because he gets free 28-yard field goals every week.
Yeah.
I mean, so, I mean, that's the thing that's annoying about Matt Ryan. He's a guy who he's going to do enough to make you like him, and then he's going to do just enough to make sure you never fucking win anything. So those guys are almost more dangerous than the guys who just completely suck, because you're not going to win a championship for 20 years and you're going to think you can, like Aaron Boone, coach. Let's go through another couple games here. Dallas Chargers was underwhelming. We talked about that on the show, Haley, how that game could underwhelm. It did underwhelm. And Pollard's the better back. I've been saying it for fucking 2 years. Zeke's not the best running back on that team, even though he played fine.
Yeah, I agree. Pollard looked, really good. I think Zeke was a strong contrarian play in that game. Got in the box once, but it got a lot more Pollard snaps than I think most projected in this one. And obviously he was, as usual, very productive with the time on the field. So, there's some untimely turnovers in that one, which led to, a little less scoring. But, from a DFS perspective, I think we were all a little bit lower on that than the field. So it worked out well.
Yeah, I know whenever the Chargers lose, Ghost is happy. So,
well, I want to ask. I know he put up almost 20 points yesterday, but was it not the worst 20-point fantasy showing you've ever seen from a running back with Eckler?
No, Ghost. You are literally the most biased person who won't get off your bias, no matter what. Eckler averaged 6 yards a carry, had 9 catches.
How many of those catches were for positive yards? How many of them?
He averaged 7 yards a catch, dude. He had 9 for 61 through the air and 9 for 54 on the ground. Like, how are you going to talk shit on him after that game?
I don't think it was.
You just don't want him to be good.
Well, let's take the fantasy aspect out of it. They still lost.
He averaged 6 yards a carry. What more could he do?
How many rushing yards did he have on the game?
Yeah, his long was 20 too. It's not like he had a 48-yard run. I mean, 50. Well, that's not his fault. They're not giving him the ball.
I told you he's not a 100-yard rusher, and majority of his passes were behind the line and got tackled for losses. He had one nice catch at the end of the game up the middle. I not seen it.
Bro, he had like 30 fantasy points.
He had 20. And like I said, I think it was
He had more than 20. He had 20 through the air. He had 7 for 91 and a touchdown. That's 15 plus 7. That's 22 plus the 54. That's 27.4.
I'll look it up, but I'm telling you.
I just read it to you. You don't need to look it up.
Last I look, well, you're always wrong, so I'm going to fact check you.
You just have strong biases that you won't get off. Dude, the first carry of the game, Healy, he doesn't have any bet on it, any play on it, any interest in it. Eckler gets tackled for like a 2-yard gain. He's like, get him. I'm like, who did you bet on? He's like, nothing. I just hate Eckler. He just fucking like in every part of his soul, Bill, right now is just to hate Austin Eckler.
He hates who he hates.
I mean, I respect it. You make a bold call before the season. You want it to be right. And you were right week 1. You were wrong week 2.
Let's see. I'm pulling it up now. Keep going.
I fucking just read it to you. What do you think? I'm blind? And then final game, Healy, Tennessee and Seattle. What did you think?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, you nailed this on the stream we did Friday night as far as Derrick Henry in high-scoring shootout games. He's crushed it for the last few years, just like he did in this one. And it was just a guy I didn't get on, and I was more on the passing games, and the big dog ate.
Are you? Hold up. Let's add this up. 9 for 61. How many points is that?
17. I'm sorry, 15.
15.1. Add another 54 rushing yards. How many points is that?
20.5.
Okay. Where are the rest of the yards you're talking about? He got to 30.
The touchdown?
What touchdown?
Didn't he score?
No, he didn't score.
Are you going to make me go fact check myself here?
I told you.
Hold on.
We could do this all day.
Please. Oh, yeah. We'll do this.
Ooh, boxing match. Back and forth.
20.1, just like I told you.
Oh, no, it was Williams that scored. My bad. Okay, you're right. I was reading Williams' box score. All right, 20.1. That's not a good game.
What did I say? Was it not the worst 20-point showing you've seen?
No.
Watching him in the game, I didn't think he was as effective or productive as people made him out that he was going to be.
You just hate him. You just fucking hate him.
But
yeah,
400 yards, and unless he's catching 10 balls a game, he's not going to be productive.
Well, he's going to catch 8 balls a game.
He did last week, and I bet you next week he won't.
Okay, we're gonna make. Who do they play next week?
I'll have to look.
All right, we're gonna make a bet on this on air. So me and you are gonna go Eckler. I'm not a big Eckler guy either. I was actually on. They're playing the Chiefs next week. I'll take any money you want on a big game from Eckler next week. The what was I just gonna say here? Oh, the Tennessee Seattle. Healy, would you rather have the situation that I had where you actually make the bold prediction? And by the way, we're gonna give the plays in the next 2 minutes. Would you rather make the bold prediction right on the fucking voice chat where I was like, everyone was like, stay off Henry. We're going for the shootout. I was like, hammer Henry. he destroys in high total games, and then not play him, or just be completely wrong on a guy?
I mean, I'd probably rather just be wrong. I try to play my conviction plays.
I'm a failure, aren't I?
This week
I'm a failure. Dude, watching that game too, I was just like, I wanted to cry.
He's that weird team that shows up when you don't expect them to, and they don't show up when you don't.
So fucking annoying. Bill, any final thoughts on the whole weekend as a whole, as for any big takeaways or anything you need?
I made money. I made a nice show. All that matters. It's all that counts.
All right. So let's go through some bets. Healy, drop some dimes first before we let you run out. Give me some plays either for tonight's game, for baseball, upcoming, anything you like.
I told Mike if we didn't have 150 thumbs ups, I wasn't giving out any free plays.
No free plays. We need 35 more thumbs ups. 35 more thumbs up, or Healy's giving no plays. Ghost, give yours first.
I'm gonna go a little bit weird today. I wanted to touch Rodgers on the touchdowns. I would have played it juiced at 1.5 or even 2, but 2.5 I'm staying away. So I'm gonna take a little outside prop on him to get over 9.5 rushing yards today. I think there's an outside chance that he'll even score. So an anytime TD at plus 400. Gonna play it light, but gonna play it just to keep myself interested on the game. Outside of that, there's really not much. I mean, you have the one that it's probably the big one of the day.
Yeah. Bill, we're at 135 likes right now. We need 15 more likes for Healy to reveal his plays. And trust me, I will make sure he doesn't give you a play if you don't get 15 more.
I have 3 that I really like.
Bill's going to give you 2 until we get to 150.
So I have Packers to score in every quarter. Yes. Okay. Minus 115.
Okay.
They put up points in every quarter.
Okay.
Special teams or a defensive touchdown in the game. Yes, plus 220. Like that.
Okay.
And I have
hold on. We need one more like before you can give your play.
One more I have that I've been talking about. There it is.
All right,
I've been talking about this one for a week. I finally found it. I love this play. Shortest touchdown scored in the game, under 1.5 yards. Yes, minus 125.
You love those.
There's always a touchdown inside the yard, always at the goal line. Sometime 1.5 yards. That's awesome. Someone always gets tackled at the 1. Always. I love that play. Taking all 3 of those tonight. Love them.
All right. So those are your favorites. Evan, is your mic working?
I have no idea.
Okay. So, all right. So I'm going to go back to Healy now, and then I'll come back to you if they tell me your mic was working. So let me know if you guys heard Evan okay there. All right, Healy, you got up way over 150. Someone just took a like away, Healy. They may be all on a mission here to fool you. And then once you give the plays, they're going to revoke their thumbs up. All right. So Healy, you got you held them hostage and they delivered for you. So what do you like?
Yeah, I'm gonna have 5 today I'll be posting in the Discord, but I'll give one here today. It's going to be an MLB play.
Okay.
So I was doing some MLB research. I like the Houston Astros tonight, and in particular, Carlos Correa over 1.5 total bases in this game against Jaime Barria pitching for the Angels. Barria is pretty much a fastball slider guy. 42% of his pitches to right-handed batters are sliders. It's a pitch that Correa and a few others Astros profile extremely well against, 418 expected WOBA, 235 ISO, 44% hard hit rate against the pitch mix. I think this is a spot where Correa, he projects extremely well to hit Barrio. So I'm going to take the minus or over 1.5 total bases at even money.
All right. So Correa over 1.5 total bases. I am rooting for you, not just because you're my friend and not just because you're giving these to our subscribers and not because every bet you win makes me look better for hunting you down, but because it will ensure that Bill Rupp does not win the first prop of the night.
That's why I gave 3.
Well, one of yours was the team to score in every quarter, so you can't win that till the 4th.
Yeah. My baseball game's late, though.
Oh, what time is it at?
The Astros, they don't start till 9:38 Eastern.
Oh, Bill's got the edge.
Like yesterday, special teams or defensive touchdown. First one of the game, defensive.
Right. I'm gonna have to go win it just so Bill can't. And Haley, if you need to jump, I'll let you jump. If you want to hang on, whatever you want.
Cool. Sounds good.
All right. So here's the plays for me tonight. All right. Now, I am absolutely obsessed with this. I've been teasing this for the whole day and night, and I can't understand why this prop is where it is. I have 4 bets that I absolutely love tonight. Okay. Normally I'll give you 1 on here or 2 on here, but we'll unload the clip on this and I'll give you the 4 plays that I love, only because I think they kind of serve as a hedge on the one that I'm going to scale into heavier than I ever have. I already have 5 figures on this one prop. I have about $14,000 on it right now. And there's a chance that it goes higher. And I want Ghost and Bill to kind of fill me in if you think anything's wrong with it. So this game tonight with the Packers versus the Lions, we saw last week that Detroit was throwing to the running back a ton, and an insane amount. Okay. So last week we had Jamal Williams and Swift combined for 20 targets. Okay. 2-0. That's 20 targets and 16 catches. They each had 8 catches. Swift is the primary back. Williams started the game. So you're looking at probably about a 60-40 timeshare, right? I think it was 36% of the snaps last week for Williams and 60 for Swift. All right. So right there alone, I was projecting Williams this week, looking at all the stats that I'm going to read to you in a second. I was projecting Jamal Williams for about 34, 35 receiving yards. I was expecting his prop to come out around 27, 28, maybe even 30 after what we saw last week. And it came out at 18.5. Okay. And now it's 17.5 at some books. I have no fucking idea why this prop is so low. It makes zero fucking sense to me. So if you look at last week, me and Bill went through it last night. He played a lot. He actually started the game. So he started the game last week. And this is his old fucking team. This is a revenge game right now. Okay. Evan, I don't know if you can do a screen share if I sent you a link to a video. Can you find, do you know the video I'm talking about with Jamal Williams last week when he was talking about his ex-girlfriend?
Yeah, I think so. That was my pick too, Jamal Williams, because he's out for blood.
Right. So if you can get that video and screen share it and play that for a second, let me know when you have it. But so coming into this week, not even knowing about the receiving or anything like that, I was going to go all in Jamal Williams anyway, just because he got let go by the Packers. He's was one of the leaders in the clubhouse, one of the leaders on the team, and he's on the fucking Detroit Lions. So he's getting a lot of timeshare with a guy like Swift, who is not Aaron Jones. So if he can eat into Aaron Jones, he could definitely eat into Swift. And he did that last week. And he produced with 8 or 9 carries and 8 or 9 receptions. So I walked into this week going, I know his props are going to be too low. It usually takes Vegas a couple weeks to adjust to something like this. But the revenge game factor was the reason why I wanted it bad, especially on a bad team like Detroit, where they don't have shit to play for. So when you have a guy that you just brought on and he's got a lot of motivation to go out and look good on Monday night in front of his old team, they're in the, especially someone with a big personality like Jamal Williams, who's a leader in the clubhouse at Green Bay and already is in his current team. These are human beings. You know, all week everyone's going, come on, Jam, we got you this week. We got you this week. The only question for me is after he scores, is he going to Lambeau leap? It's not even a question of if he's going to score or if they're going to give him opportunity. Is he going to Lambeau leap at his old field? And you know that's a thing that he probably wants to do, and they're going to force that to him. So I think he's going to get a lot of opportunity, but here's the statistical side of it. So outside of the interview, outside of the revenge game, let me know when you have it. Just
I think I got it.
Okay, you can run it. Run the interview first because I think it's going to explain a lot.
Showing on stream.
Act like I
Showing on the stream.
Oh, golly, I didn't do it.
I can't hear it.
Want me?
Oh, they're
like
watching
that
it.
ex-girlfriend. Shoot, I gotta go. I got a rebound. It was the Lions. They picked me up. You know what I mean? Now they feeding me good, taking me to dinners. You know what I mean? Another man's trash is another man's treasure.
All right.
That's done?
Yep.
Okay. So that right there is one of the funniest things you've ever seen. But he's talking about, I'm with my new girlfriend, right? I'm with my new girlfriend. My old girlfriend dumped me. My new girlfriend's feeding me good. I'm eating good. Things are good. He's happier than a pig in shit. That's a dude who wants to fucking thrive this week. So I like that side of it. The big thing for me here is that statistically, it's fucking huge. Because if you think about this from a game flow perspective, right? From a game flow perspective, if this game gets out of hand, that benefits catches to the running back, right? That's the reason they had so many last week, because they got down big to San Fran. Well, Green Bay is a fucking 15-point favorite or 13-point favorite in this game. So the game flow should project. He's going to get 35 to 40% of the snaps anyway. Not to mention Swift's been hurt all week. I know Jamal Williams was missed a couple practices, but that was for a chest issue. That wasn't for a fucking injury. Swift has been injured the whole preseason, didn't play a snap in the preseason, then got a little dinged up last week at the end of the game, and then didn't practice all week this week with a groin issue. That's a soft tissue issue. So Swift could easily leave this game. He's going to play, but he could easily leave this game early if he tweaks something, which means Jamal Williams gets 100% of the workload. So if Swift gets hurt, Jamal Williams smashes the prop. If it's a blowout, Jamal Williams smashes the prop. If it stays close, then maybe you got to sweat it a little bit more, but he's still going to be involved throughout the whole game, right? So those are the main factors there. And the bottom line is that Jared Goff is not Jameis Winston. He's the opposite of Jameis Winston. He wants to check down. That's the reason Hawkinson's going to be so good this year. He wants to fucking hit the tight end, check down to running backs, play it safe. I mean, if I asked you guys right now, name 3 receivers on the Detroit Lions, it would probably take you a few seconds, right? It'd be like Cephas and I think Tyrell Williams, and everyone would usually get stuck on the third, right? Like you guys may not, but regular people. They have no fucking weapons. So it's the running back. Here's my favorite part of this. I do not think last week was an aberration. I think we're going to have 3 or 4 weeks of pounding these props on these running backs receptions because of the staff. This is a whole new coaching staff in Detroit. Dan Campbell was the assistant coach for the New Orleans Saints, okay? The New Orleans Saints, over the last 4 years, the whole 4-year tenure that Dan Campbell was the coach, assistant coach of the Saints, they were the number 1 team in the NFL throwing the ball to the running back, right? So you got a head coach who's coming in with 4 years being the number 1 team throwing the ball to the running back and seeing success with the Saints. So even if it wasn't his play calling, he's still a part of that meeting room. He's still in those discussions, and he's watching it work on the field. So he's obviously in favor of it. Who does he bring on as his offensive coordinator? Brings on Anthony Lynn, who was the head coach of the Los Angeles Chargers. The Los Angeles Chargers were the second most team in throwing to the running back over the last 4 years. So you have the head coach who's the most. You have the offensive coordinator who was leading an offense that was the second most in throwing to the running back. And if you want to say Eckler sucks, like Ghost says, they turned Eckler into a fucking star. So they could turn anyone into a fucking star. And then you look at their running back coach, who was Deuce Staley, who literally was number 4 in receiving yards for a running back in 2002. And in 2001 was second in the entire NFL to Marshall fucking Faulk in receptions. So you have a head coach that loves throwing to a running back. You have an offensive coordinator that loves throwing to a running back. And you have a running backs coach who is one of the best receiving running backs in the history of the NFL. And you have no wide receivers. You have a team that sucks. You have a team that's going to be down. And he caught 8 balls last week for 56 yards. And you have the counterpart for him who's dealing with a groin issue, who could leave the game at any time. And it's his old fucking team that he's playing against, so they're probably going to feed him more. Someone help me understand how Jamal Williams doesn't get 18 receiving yards in this game.
Because he's supposed to, so you know it won't happen.
It's going down. The line went down.
It's going up.
Is it going up now? It's probably because we're talking. we put it out.
Move markets.
Yeah. I mean, it was 18.5. It opened at 17.5 on draft.
20.5 somewhere.
It's probably going to go to 24, 25.5. I don't see how this line is 10 yards low, and I would say 20 yards low. I am going to have $20-something thousand on this thing when all is said and done, through parlays and same game parlays and all that kind of shit. And I think the way to do it, if you want to play it a little safer, you could go 3x your normal betting size on Jamal Williams, and then throw I'm going triple max on Jamal Williams, and then you could throw a max bet on Swift, because there's no fucking way both of them are going under. So you have a perfect hedge on Swift if Jamal Williams gets hurt, or if it ends up being all Swift. The stat I forgot, Green Bay was the 3rd worst against receptions to the running back in the entire NFL last year. They gave up the 3rd most receiving yards to running backs in the entire NFL last year. I went so deep into this fucking analysis that I actually went and looked, and here's where I got to pull up my notes. I actually went and looked at the last time Dan Campbell, Anthony Lynn, and Jared Goff faced the Packers, which is pretty irrelevant probably because it's different teams and different scenarios. But even that came up spades. The last time Dan Campbell faced the Packers with the Saints was a year ago, and Kamara had 13 catches for 140 yards. Okay. The last time Anthony Lynn with the Chargers faced the Packers was 2019, and the Charger running backs had 40% of the receptions in that game, 38%. And the last time Jared Goff faced the Packers, Todd Gurley led the team in catches and yards in that game. So like I'm just digging and digging and digging, and the only thing I can come up with is, he's a 35 to 40% timeshare back. They're not going to have 90 snaps again like they did last week. Maybe they have 70, and maybe he only hits the field for 24, 25 snaps, which, a drop here, a 3-yard loss on a thing. Maybe you're sweating it, but I mean, that's the only way I could see it. But then the fact that they're playing their old team in Green Bay, I can't find a scenario where he doesn't get this number.
Listen, this is just one of those things where you have to just follow everything you researched. Everything points to the game going this way. And if for any reason it doesn't happen, it's going to be something that happens because you have no control over it.
Yeah.
It's just one of those plays where unless they do something that they're not supposed to do, it should hit in the first quarter.
I mean, he's probably going to start the game too. But so the thing is, someone wrote in the chat, injury, chest issue. Yeah, the chest issue I think was more like a fucking like a sickness. I don't even think it was like, but you're not worried about a chest issue. You're worried about groins and hamstrings and stuff like that. But that's why I say you put a little hedge on Swift. If you really want to get creative with a hedge with Swift, the big thing I'm worried about is a potential injury, right? Like that's always the thing that can fuck you on a prop. It fucked us with Tyrod Taylor, especially when you're going in for this type of size. So I think the thing you would do, you got to rule out both of them getting hurt in the same game. Like even though it can happen, you got to just rule that out. If you're going that deep into worries, you shouldn't be gambling. So that's crazy if that happens. You just eat that, take the L, and move on. But the one thing I think you can do, you could do an alt yardage on FanDuel at least for Swift, right? Because my fear would be, let's say Swift's going crazy, Jamal Williams gets banged up. So I think if Jamal Williams doesn't hit his number or gets hurt or something like that, then Swift should go way the fuck off from receiving. So you could probably get like a plus 300 on over like 40 receiving yards for Swift because his number is 28.5. And that kind of serves as a hedge on this. I'm just trying to see here.
I don't even know if you even need to worry about that. If he's going to hit this prop, he's going to do it in 2 catches. So unless he gets hurt in that 2-catch window, I feel like this should be through the roof in the first quarter or two.
People in the comments are saying they're taking this prop off the board.
I'm just seeing it come off the board right now. It just left the board. Where is it?
Way to go. You ruined it for everyone.
Actually just went down on
it's off the board on one. It's at 17.5 on another, and it's 20.5 on another. Let me see. DeAndre Swift alt receiving is off the board. That was there earlier. I mean, listen, there's a bunch of books that still have it up, but I would get it if you can. I honestly want both of them. So I want the over on Williams. I want the over on Swift receiving, and I want the over on Hawkinson. So I would rank them Jamal Williams receiving with a bullet as the highest. My next favorite would be Hawkinson over the middle. That guy is basically going to be Travis Kelce this year, and people just don't realize it yet. They have no receivers. So I would have Hawkinson over 52.5 as a joke. I would slam that. Jamal Williams over 18.5 is a fucking joke. I would quadruple slam that. And then I like Jamal Williams rushing and receiving. So if he does it on the ground, you're going to get a piece of both. Maybe breaks off a 50-yard run. And you don't have to worry about it.
I wouldn't take the receptions.
No.
I got screwed yesterday on the receptions for Elliott. He got the yards, and he didn't get the one more catch. So you could get one catch for 50 yards the first play of the game, and that could be it.
Here's the trick, and this is a thing that you guys got to learn because I see everyone looking at it. If he catches 3 passes, is he going to get 18 yards? Probably, right? So I'd rather just have the yards because I could cash that in the first quarter. Don't take volume plays on guys with low totals. Receptions is a volume play. You only take volume plays with guys who need big numbers to eliminate and mitigate some of the risk on them getting hurt or the game flow happening in the second half and game flowing you out. So if a guy like Devontae Adams, I may take catches possibly, right? Because I'm going to need a full run to even hit that over 90 or whatever the fuck the number is. But if a guy's total 17.5, like Mecole Hardman last night was 2.5 catches, 34.5 yards. Why would you do the fucking catches? You can get it on one play. Perfect example tonight, Valdez-Scantling. Valdez-Scantling's over 2.5 catches or over 3 catches on most sites and like 39.5 yards. Why the fuck would you take the catches? He averages 20 yards a catch. If he catches 4 balls, he's going to have 80 yards, you know? So take the yards. It's the easier path. You get hit it in the first quarter. If he gets injured in the second, you're good.
Well, I'll tell you guys how I'm going to bet it. Because I don't know, like when it's too good to be true, a lot of times, like Go said, sometimes it doesn't hit. Listen, I hope it hits.
It's going to smash.
Use your free bets, guys. Use your free bets. Every site gives you free bets. Use all your free bets. Doesn't matter how much you bet. You're getting a free bet. Correlation to your betting. You have a $25 free bet. You usually bet $10. Put the whole free bet on it. Why not? You know, you're getting the money. MGM, I had a bunch of $1,000 free bets. I put it on that. Why not? You know, you get the free bets in, and you don't have to worry about it. So if it loses, you lost a free bet. You know?
Jamal Williams is now up to 19.5 minus 120 on DraftKings. So we have just moved the line, which happens all the time. But I mean, yeah, I'm with you, Bill. For me, I usually get worried if there's something in like the 40s, 50s, 60s that looks too good to be true. But my forte has been tight end and running back 15 to 25 yard props, right? Like that's been my favorite thing to do, to find these 17, like fucking what's his name from the Vikings yesterday. A lot of these guys with these low totals, AJ Green, these low totals are my favorite to hammer. So this is
still 18.5 on MGM.
Yeah, hit it. Anywhere it's 18.5, hit it. Anywhere you see 18.5, hit it. It should be 21.5 by kickoff, and I still like that. I just wouldn't hit it for a triple max at that point. I may do a single max or a double max. So if you see the line moving away from you, just take a unit or two off it. Just drop it down. Same thing
with him. I see, and I'm only saying it because you're asking for double.
No, I want it.
The only thing I can say is they really didn't use him as much of a pass catcher in Green Bay. So unless Detroit plans on using him differently than they did, then that's the only drawback I see. He only had 2 or 3 games maybe last year where he had more than 3 catches. But it's a different team. It's going to be a different scenario where we expect them to be playing from behind. So that's really what it's going to come down to.
That's where he had most of his yards last week, was later in the game.
Yeah, so. But that's the as long as he's going to be on the field, right, Bill? We checked into that, make sure he was playing in the first half a lot. And he was. He played like 35, 40% of the snaps. He played probably 30% of the snaps in the first half and like 50, 60% in the second half. So, I mean, the opportunity is going to be there for him to do this. And like I said, it's fucking 19 yards. I mean, at the same token, Ghost, you are talking about a guy who was, catching 30, 40 balls a year. I mean, it's not like, in a part-time role to Aaron Jones. So, I don't know. I think it's a joke. I think if it wasn't for Green Bay, I probably would just have it as a max bet. But the fact that it's his old team, and Evan, you were saying it earlier, you want some of this revenge here with Jamal Williams too, just really put me over the top.
I think it's going to be viable too because Jared Goff's going to need that check down, in my opinion.
Yeah. I could see this being a scenario where we're hitting this thing multiple times throughout the game. Like
I don't see it taking more than 2 catches.
No, probably not. I mean, and he's going to be motivated. So, I mean, listen, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm a little nervous about this. If I've put $10,000, $15,000 on props before, usually it's tough to get them down, but it's never really like nervous because it's always like, I know the guy's going to have the volume, like Tyrod Taylor rushing or something. I know the guy's going to be on the field the whole time. So I am a little worried that taking a backup running backs prop or a timeshare running back. So that would be the concern, but I think that's why the prop's so low. I think that's why it's so low. It should be 30 plus, 28 plus, and they have it so low because they're like DeAndre Swift. So I'm going to take both. I'm going to take Swift's over. I'm going to take Jamal Williams triple max over. I'm going to take Jamal Williams rushing and receiving. I'm going to take Hawkinson. So those are mine. Any final words here, boys, before we get out of here?
Nothing from me. Keeping it small this week. Kept it small yesterday. Hit all 4. Gonna play that one Rodgers rushing prop today. We'll splash a little on a touchdown, and that'll be it for me today.
All right, Silly Billy Brop.
I'm just gonna keep it winning. Keep my count count going higher and higher.
Gonna keep on winning. You hear that, Evan? He's just gonna keep on winning.
Keep it winning. That's what we like to do around here. Keep it winning.
That's it.
Not keep it losing.
Just gonna keep it winning. So, any final words, Evan?